gotten the better of us. It seems as if he has won and that he's been exonerated and nothing bad's going to happen to him. It seems like everyone... No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so what's actually happened is that Nick Rekieta has successfully managed to temporarily suppress the body cam footage. You know, he had like his lawyers do something, and like the county is like working to try and prevent internet weirdos from getting their hands on it. But we do have a transcript. We have a pretty good idea of like what happened in the video at this point. We just need to see it. So honestly, I do think we don't really need the body cam footage. That's always been like my take on this, is that like we know what condition the house was in. We know what happened. We have transcripts, right? We have like, you know, we have police reports, right? We don't really need the body cam footage to tell that like Nick Rekieta is a lying liar who lies, and that like you know, the body cam footage just spells out absolute disaster. There's a reason he's trying to suppress it, because it's so critical to like his narrative online, that there was nothing wrong with his house, there was nothing wrong with the kids, that they weren't being neglected at all. Like, one look at the body cam footage is going to dispel all of that. And it's very clear to me that he is terrified of the body cam footage going out. I would say this is like the most important thing he's done in like protecting his reputation online, is just taking steps to ensure that footage does not get out. And it's a shame that like it's been such a nightmare to get a hold of it. You know, it's been a year now since the arrest. We've been working to get a hold. You know, Null has been working to get a hold of it. I haven't done shit, but like, you know, people have been like working to get a hold of it. Like, we've all had our eyes. Like, we've all been waiting a day when it happens, and it seems to be imminent. But like at the same time, like Nick's doing everything he possibly can to stop it from happening, and it does need to be spelled out like now. That it isn't going to work. You know, it is going to come out at some point. We are going to have like we are going to have people like autistically combing through this footage, you know, examining everything that's on display, you know, all the drugs, all the sex toys, all the trash and the litter and the dirty clothes. You know, you're going to see a bunch of disheveled, starving kids. It's going to be brutal when this footage actually comes out. And I'm very, very curious as to like what Nick is going to do when it inevitably surfaces. You know, that's my take on this, is like, how exactly is he going to brush this under the rug? Because he's been struggling to like try and make it out to be like, I'm a victim of corrupt cops and corrupt government, and yet like you're clearly the kind of person that like the government should be going after. You know what I mean? Like, I support the cops going after people like you. In fact, I wish you got sent to prison immediately. But like, I imagine like realistically what's going to happen. He is going to have a relapse. This is like the Harmon Smith, like Nostradamus prediction. He is going to have a relapse. He's going to get like, angry with the audience. He's going to tell people things that they shouldn't, that they don't need to know. You know, things that like he shouldn't be talking about. He is going to openly be doing like drugs and drinking again on stream, right? And he is going to violate the terms of his probation and like end up going to jail. You know, that's always been my take, is that he 100% is going to violate his probation in some way, and he is going to get busted, right? He is going to get in trouble with the law again. It's inevitable. And when that happens, when this greasy, long-nosed, like individual gets sent to prison, unable to stream, unable to damage control, I think then we'll have a little bit more leeway in like getting a hold of some of this documentation. Like, he won't actively be able to suppress or like attempt to damage control the situation. Like, even like the very few like Baldo washers that remain, you know, people like Kumala and people like that are still streaming with Nick, like, these guys aren't going to stand in Nick's corner if he's not there on stream propping up their own irrelevant channels. You know, that's kind of my take on it. Like, when this guy is in a position where he is not allowed to stream, that's when his entire house of cards fails, because like his streams are the only avenue he has to protect himself from the autistic allegations. Like his streams are the only way he can come out and try and say, well, actually, the cops did not have a warrant, or that they what did he try to say, that like the cops like stopped him in a way they weren't supposed to, and that there were no drugs, and that like they weren't out in the open. Like he's just like I don't know what he's like trying to tell people, because like none of it's true, and he's like contradicting himself numerous times. But like the reality is quite a bit different, and that's the issue with this situation. That's the problem with like suppressing this footage, is that like he's lied so much about this case and about what happened that he probably doesn't even like realize how damning like the footage actually is. So when it does come out, like it's going to contradict everything he said over like the past several years in regards to like his arrest and like the circumstances of it. I really encourage people to go back and like look at some of his older stuff when he was talking about like getting arrested and stuff like that, and how he was like demonizing the cops, like, and trying to make it out to be like he was being mistreated in some way. Like it's going to be really interesting seeing like the reality of that. And we already know the reality, but like I've been saying this for a long time. This is like the core of the issue. It is going to get worse. There is no redemption arc for Nick Rekieta. It just isn't going to happen. He's not really capable of it. Like that's the thing. This is the reason why like Nick needs to go to prison like forever. Like because like he isn't going to improve his circumstances. He's not going to be a family man. He's not going to like suddenly start practicing law. He's not even really a streamer. I've seen like a couple of his law live streams over the past couple of weeks, and he's just like sitting there like watching the trial play out, look bored out of his mind. Like that's Nick Rekieta. He had a YouTube audience, he had a trust fund, and now he's like just kind of desperately trying to live off of both, and it's like, it's appalling to see. And it's a really good testament, I think, as to how people like Nick, just because they have money, that they are kind of above the law to a certain extent, or like they think they're above the law. Like it's going to take something like very heinous to get people to like really come after Nick and really do what needs to be done. And I'm very concerned about like what that's actually going to look like. Like, it could be like something far nastier than what we've seen so far. Like again, we've seen how like he blows up at people like Keanu, right? I didn't watch the entire stream, but like I saw like snippets of it where he's just like snapping at her, like contradicting like everything she says, ineffectually, by the way. Like he's like he has to treat like his wife and kids like that all the time. Actually, I think we have seen him scream at his kids on stream before. But like, yeah, I am very, very, very concerned about like the safety of like everyone in that household. Well, maybe not so much Nick. He can take a bullet, but like the kids' lives are probably at risk here. People talk about their health and well-being, but like I think it's not unfeasible that like Rekieta could like murder one of his kids. Like I hate to say that because it seems like so out of left field, but like this is the kind of personality that will like snap and do that, I think, if he thought it would benefit himself in some way. Like, oh, I can't be abusing my kids because they're dead. Like that legit might be stretching out for it. Like he's not in his right mind. That's very apparent if you like watch a lot of him. But I do think like it really shouldn't even like get to that point. Like the government should have intervened a long time ago. The kids should have been taken away forever. The YouTube channel should have been shut down. I feel like all of these things very, very strongly. And I do think that we do need to like take these situations more seriously and really start like pushing back against this mindset. This kind of like libertarian viewpoint of just like, oh, nothing I do matters, I can do whatever I want. It's not true. It never was true, never will be true. Like what you do absolutely does matter. And Nick Rekieta demonstrates that very well. Like, he had everything he could ever want, and he still ended up miserable and alone.